Now, you could say that it was already in the works, but I feel like with my 1,300 subscribers, Jed Mackay heard me. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. My name is Dorian. This is SCM Comics. We continue our coverage of Raid on Graymalkin with X-Men number 9. Our story starts off in the sub-level of Graymalkin prison, formerly known as the Morlock Tunnels. Can't wait till they're back to being the Morlock Tunnels. And all of a sudden, there's a BAMF, and Psylocke and Nightcrawler appear. So sexy as Psylocke is, now she smells like farts. So Nightcrawler is like, look, I am an acrobat and a teleporter. Nobody can cut me. And Psylocke's like, I don't play with swords like you do, Wagner. I kill people with them. So Nightcrawler's like, I'm not as pissed at you as I was before. And you're probably the same way. So I think we're far enough away from that artificial anger. So now we go to control center of the prison where you got the Heifer, and she's with Scurvy and Captain Ezra. So the Heifer wants to send in the trustees and the Wolfpack Sentinels, which are the dog sentinels. And then Scurvy's like, that's fine, but I can't control the Wolfpack and the trustees and also to pump in the artificial anger to the X-Men. And the Heifer's like, that's fine, they're just mutants. So the Captain Ezra's like, I have to disagree with you, ma'am. They're not just mutants. These are the X-Men. I knew I liked that guy. So then Cyclops was like, Juggernaut, take Blob. Great minds think alike. Said Jed Mackay, hey, we need a Blob Juggernaut showdown. Now what are we getting? Blob Juggernaut showdown. I know you already probably had it in the works, but let me get the win right now. Rogue tells Wolverine to take down Wildchild. Now, I got a question for you guys. The first time I ever saw Wildchild was during the Age of Apocalypse, to the point that I thought Wildchild was a product of Age of Apocalypse. No. He started off in Alpha Flight back in 1983, long time ago. How did I miss Wildchild until the Age of Apocalypse? I have no idea, but I did. Let me know in the comments the first time you heard of Wildchild, or if you're today years old, just find out about him. So Deathstream is with Magic, and he goes, how many times have you died? She goes, Winds of Watoon, to push back Siren. And she goes, the first one didn't agree with me. So I'm eager not to repeat the process. So Jubilee is telling Temper to lay off of Wolverine. Temper pretty much calls her Wolverine's special girl sidekick. And Jubilee is like, well, damn, I didn't know you felt like that. So Wolverine is gutting Wildchild. And he's like, guys like you and me, this is like a handshake. I don't want any of those handshakes. And then Juggernaut is knocking the bejesus out of Blob, talking about, go down, damn it. So then Jubilee and Temper are having issues with the Wolfpack Sentinels. When all of a sudden, Ransom comes out of nowhere and knocks the bejesus out these dogs. And he walks over to Temper and is like, I'm Ransom. And she goes, Temper. Man, is there a X-Men, Uncanny X-Men love affair going on? Let me know in the comments. So they take care of the Sentinel dogs, they take care of the trustees, they're finally working together. We go back to the control room, and Captain Ezra is like, 16 X-Men, madam. We are not equipped to handle 16 X-Men, and she just gets all pissed off. She's like, it makes no difference. Graymalkin prison is where we put mutant scum, X-Men or otherwise. Then she turns to Scurvy and is like, you need to interact the White Light Protocol. He's like, White Light, Warden, and she slaps the bejesus out that man. So then the Heifer's like, you claim to be a psychic to rival Charles Xavier. Prove it. So then we go back to the Morlock Tunnels. I ain't putting it formally on nothing. And we got Psylocke and Nightcrawler, and they walk up to this big vault that has an X on it. And now I am thoroughly confused. So then we go back to the X-Men, and Rogue's like, all right, we're going to bust out Charles Xavier. And then Cyclops was like, no, we're not. So Rogue's like, what do you mean, no? And Cyclops was like, no, we're not stepping backwards. We're going to move forwards. So obviously Rogue is thoroughly pissed. And then Cyclops explains himself. He's like, you don't see. Xavier has always manipulated us. He will always manipulate us, all for the sake of his dreams. And what has it gotten us? Now we're free of Xavier's dream. Free to follow our own dreams. Because he's in there and we're out here. If you let Charles Xavier back in the world, then we're back on the leash. Obviously, Rogue's like, you're wrong. So Cyclops was like, he made me watch when he murdered that crew in space. That's back during the fall of the House of X. Link to the playlist will be in the description. Now, before we move forward, let me know in the comments, do you agree with Rogue or do you agree with Cyclops? So obviously they're about to duke it out again, when all of a sudden somebody says, please. Beautiful people in tight-fitting clothes fighting each other. Let me make this plain and simple. Nobody's leaving Graymalkin prison. It's scurvy, obviously. And then Wolverine's like, and what are you going to do about it, bub? Now, he has these crutches that he's walking on. And he also has like these leg braces. So obviously this dude is disabled. But all of a sudden, he dropped the crutches because he doesn't need them no more. Why? Because he's floating in the air. And he goes, white light protocol. And everybody's eyes turn white. Now, this is the only spot where I feel like they should have did a little bit of research. Because technically, Juggernaut's helmet prevents any telepaths from getting into his head. So he should be just fine, but he's struggling. And he's like, I'm sorry, Cyclops, but we need a Hail Mary. And we need the one guy that's going to give us a chance. And he grabs a cell and he's about to rip it open. When all of a sudden, all you hear is, thank you, Kane, but your efforts are unnecessary. Despite the name, I'm afraid Inmate X does not refer to me. And all of a sudden, we're looking at Charles Xavier. It looks like Charles Xavier. And he is controlling the hell on Psylocke and Nightcrawler. In the immortal words of Vince Lombardi, what in the hell's going on?